Ladies and gentlemen, honorable guests, welcome to our first Europe Green and Smart Shipping webinar organized by KOTRA Athens with the support of the Embassy of the Republic of Korea and the Hellenic Republic Ministry of Maritime Affairs and Insular Policy. My name is Konstantinos Papageorgiou and I'm in charge of the marine business in KOTRA Athens. The first speaker is His Excellency the Ambassador of the Republic of Korea in Greece, Mr. Soosuk LIM, who will give the welcoming speech.
안녕하세요. 주 그리스 한국대사 임석입니다. 오늘 직접 만나 뵙고 얘기도 나눌 수 있었으면 훨씬 더 좋았을 텐데 화면으로만 뵙게 돼서 아쉽습니다. 내년에는 코로나가 극복돼서 한국 참석자들이 그리스에 오셔서 맛있는 음식과 아름다운 풍경을 보시면서 이렇게 서로 협력하는 더 좋은 기회가 있기를 꼭 기대합니다. 오늘 저는 여러분들께 그리스와 한국과의 관계에 대해서 말씀드리겠습니다. 한국과 그리스는 서로 지리적으로 멀리 떨어져 있지만 놀랄 정도로 공통점이 많습니다. 양국은 북위 38도에 있고 또한 반도국가, 해양국가입니다. 근대 역사를 보더라도 수많은 외침과 식민 지배, 그리고 독립, 내전, 군사정부에 이어서 민주화를 이룩한 그런 궤적이 똑같습니다. 또한 어른을 공경하고 손님을 환대하는 국민적 정서라든가 풍습도 똑같습니다. 그래서인지 제가 그리스 지방 곳곳을 방문하게 되면은 마치 고향이나 어렸을 때 제가 많이 가던 시골에 온 듯한 그런 푸근함을 느낍니다. 그리고 매년 그리스를 찾는 우리 국민들도 똑같이 이렇게 느끼고 그리스의 팬이 되어 돌아갑니다. 그리스 사람들 역시 한국을 가까운 친구로 생각하고 있습니다. 올해는 그리스의 독립전쟁 200주년, 한국과 그리스의 수교 60주년을 맞이하는 매우 뜻깊은 한 해입니다. 어려울 때 친구가 진정한 친구라고 합니다. 그리스는 한국이 매우 어려웠을 때 안보와 경제적으로 귀중한 도움을 준 고마운 나라입니다. 70년 전 그리스는 미수교 상태였음에도 불구하고 한국의 자유와 민주주의를 지키기 위해서 유엔 참전국 중 5번째로 많은 1만여 명의 병력을 파병하였습니다. 또한 1970년대 초에는 그리스 선주가 한국에 처음으로 대형 유조선 2척을 발주해서 당시 한국의 조선 사람이 도약할 수 있는 그런 귀중한 기회를 주었습니다. 그리스의 유력 선조들은 그리스가 한국의 조선업 발전에 도움을 주었고 반면 한국은 우수한 선박을 만들어서 세계 1위 해운국인 그리스를 도와주고 있다고 말하고 있습니다. 이처럼 서로 바늘과 실처럼 둘도 없는 동반자입니다. 양국 간의 우정은 반세기 넘는 동안 더욱 굳건해졌습니다. 저희 부모님 세대가 서로를 믿고 함께 소중히 가까워온 전통과 우정을 바탕으로 해서 더욱 더 큰 협력과 결실을 이루어 나가야 할 것입니다. 오늘 저는 이 웨비나에 그리고 화상 상담회에서 여러분들이 함께 만나게 된 것은 우연이 아니라 필연이라고 생각합니다. 이번 행사에서 많은 성과를 거두시게 되기를 바랍니다. 그리고 또한 참석해 주신 모든 분들의 가정에 그 행복과 사랑이 늘 충만하기를 기원드립니다. 감사합니다. 에파리스토폴리.
Thank you, Your Excellency. For the next speech, we welcome the Deputy Minister of Maritime Affairs and Insular Policy, Mr. Kostas Katsafados, who will give his greeting speech.
Κυρίες και κύριοι, λυπάμαι που οι συνθήκες που έχει διαμορφώσει η πανδημία σε όλο τον κόσμο, αλλά και στην πατρίδα μας εμποδίζει να έχουμε την ευκαιρία να ανταλλάξουμε απόψεις από κοντά. Η τεχνολογία όμως, στην οποία η φίλη χώρα της Κορέας έχει επενδύσει αρκετά, μας δίνει την ευκαιρία να επικοινωνήσουμε έστω και με αυτόν τον τρόπο. Θα ήθελα πρώτα απ' όλα να συγχαρώ τους διοργανωτές του διαδικτυακού συνεδρίου, την Υπηρεσία Προώθησης Εμπορίου και Επενδύσεων της Κορέας και του Γραφείου της στην Αθήνα. Όπως ξέρετε, η χώρα μας πιστεύει στη φιλία και στη συνεργασία των δύο μας λαών και αποτελεί για εμάς ξεχωριστή τιμή ότι πολλοί Κορεάτες μαθαίνουν για τον ελληνικό πολιτισμό από τα σχολικά τους χρόνια. Παράλληλα, γνωρίζετε ότι η Ελλάδα ήταν παρούσα στους αγώνες που έκανε η Κορέα κατά τη δεκαετία του 50 για δημοκρατία και ανεξαρτησία. Θέλω να πιστεύω ότι 2 παραπάνω αναφορές αποτέλεσαν την απαρχή της δημιουργίας ειλικρινών και επικοδομητικών σχέσεων μεταξύ των 2 κρατών μας και δείχνουν τις σχέσεις εμπιστοσύνης τις οποίες έχουμε αναπτύξει μεταξύ μας. Όπως γνωρίζετε, για την Ελλάδα, για εμάς, η ναυτιλία αποτελεί έναν από τους βασικούς πυλώνες ανάπτυξης, αλλά και έναν τομέα που μπορούμε να αναπτύξουμε τη συνεργασία ανάμεσα στα 2 κράτη μας. Μια συνεργασία η οποία έχει ξεκινήσει από τις αρχές της δεκαετίας του 50 με τους Έλληνες εφοπλιστές, οι οποίοι δώσαν ψήφο εμπιστοσύνης στα κορεάτικα ναυπηγεία και στηρίξαν την ναυπηγική βιομηχανία της Κορέας. Άρα το θέμα του συνεδρίου, πράσινη Ευρώπη και έξυπνη ναυτιλία, είναι για εμάς μια διπλή πρόκληση, αλλά και μια ευκαιρία να αξιοποιήσουμε τον τομέα της καινοτομίας και της υψηλής τεχνολογίας, στον οποίο η Κορέα ξεχωρίζει. Η κυβέρνησή μας και προσωπικά ο ίδιος ο Πρωθυπουργός, ο Κυριάκος ο Μητσοτάκης, πιστεύουν ότι η συζήτηση γύρω από τα θέματα της προστασίας του περιβάλλοντος, γύρω από μια μετάβαση σε μια οικονομία μηδενικών εκπομπών ρήπων, δεν είναι μια συζήτηση η οποία γίνεται μόνο για να προστατεύσουμε τον ένα και μοναδικό πλανήτη στον οποίο κατοικούμε. Γίνεται και για να βελτιώσουμε την ποιότητα ζωής όλων των συμπολιτών μας. Στο πλαίσιο αυτό, η πρόταση που καταθέσαμε στην Ευρώπη για την αξιοποίηση των πόρων του Ευρωπαϊκού Ταμείου Ανάκαμψης, οι δράσεις που αφορούν την ψηφιακή μετάβαση, την πράσινη ενέργεια και το περιβάλλον, καταλαμβάνουν ποσοστό που ξεπερνά το 1/3 των επενδύσεων, οι οποίες φτάνουν αθροιστικά στα 57 δισεκατομμύρια ευρώ. Όπως καταλαβαίνετε, σε ό,τι αφορά την ναυτιλία, οι εξελίξεις στη ψηφιακή τεχνολογία και η χρήση μεγάλης ποσότητας δεδομένων είναι σημαντικά στοιχεία για τον μετασχηματισμό και την σχεδίαση μακροπρόθεσμα της συνεχούς σύνδεσης πλοίου και ξηράς, με αποτέλεσμα την διαρκή παρακολούθηση της λειτουργίας του πλοίου από πλευράς περιβαλλοντικής συμπεριφοράς. Στο πλαίσιο αυτό, η Ελλάδα, όπως και άλλες χώρες, έχει καταθέσει στο Διεθνή Ναυτιλιακό Οργανισμό μία φιλόδοξη πρόταση με στόχο τη δημιουργία των προϋποθέσεων για να επιτύχει η ναυτιλία τους στόχους για απεξάρτηση από τον άνθρακα. Η πρόταση αυτή προβλέπει τη δημιουργία ενός ταμείου έρευνας από την ναυτιλία που θα λειτουργήσει σε επίπεδο IMO ύψους 5 δισεκατομμυρίων δολαρίων, με την χρηματοδότηση υποχρεωτικών εισφορών από ναυτιλιακές εταιρείες όλου του κόσμου και από ξένα funds. Το νέο αυτό ταμείο θα υποστηρίξει ένα Maritime Research and Development Board που θα προχωρήσει σε αναθέσεις προγραμμάτων εφαρμοσμένης έρευνας και ανάπτυξης τεχνολογιών μηδενικού άνθρακα, ειδικά προσαρμοσμένα στην ναυτιλία. Θα αφορά τόσο νέα συστήματα πρόωσης των πλοίων, όσο και καύσιμα που θα εξασφαλίζουν μηδενικές εκπομπές άνθρακα. Θα χρηματοδοτήσει επίσης έργα για τη μείωση του διοξιδίου του άνθρακα σε αναπτυσσόμενες χώρες, συμπεριλαμβανομένων των νησιωτικών χωρών του Ειρηνικού. Κυρίες και κύριοι, συμφωνούμε νομίζω όλοι οι συμμετέχοντες ότι αποτελεί ένα μεγάλο στοίχημα για τις χώρες μας, αλλά και γενικότερα για την ναυτιλία, να αξιοποιήσει τη τεχνολογία και να κάνει το πέρασμά της στην πράσινη εποχή. Εξάλλου, η ναυτιλία σε όλους τους λαούς άνοιξε δρόμους για ένα καλύτερο μέλλον. Σε αυτή την προσπάθεια, Ελλάδα και Κορέα μπορούν να βρουν περαιτέρω τρόπους συνεννόησης και συνεργασίας. Σας ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Minister. Our next speaker is Dr. Song, Senior VP from the Korean Register of Shipping, whose speech is on how to respond to IMO GHG issue.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. My name is Kang-hyun Song, Vice President and Head of the Decarbonization R&D Center of Korean Register. The title of my presentation is How to Respond IMO GHG Issue. Firstly, let's review IMO GHG regulation. The ultimate goal of IMO regarding GHG issue is very clear and obvious: 100% decarbonization as soon as possible in this century. To achieve this goal, IMO set up intermediate target until 2050. The first target is to make carbon intensity to decline 40% by 2030 and 70% by 2050 for individual ship. The second target is total GHG emission of shipping industry to peak and decline to 50% by 2050 compared to 2008, when owners didn't mind GHG emission at all. Considering shipping market growth, the second target might be more challenging than the first target. To achieve this intermediate target, IMO has developed short-term, mid-term, and long-term measures. In short-term measure, you can see IMO will develop technical and operational energy efficiency measure for both new and existing ships. Technical measure for existing ship means EEXI, and operational measure means CII. The deadline of short-term measure is 2023. I'd like to remind that it is adoption year of EEXI and CII. It means that IMO will keep original plan definitely without any delay. What will happen if industry cannot fulfill the target? IMO will excuse the industry, or IMO will wait for industry to find a practical solution or to develop technology? The answer is no, as far as we understand about IMO's attitude for this global issue. IMO will impose more tax, more penalty on low efficient ships, and give more incentives on high efficient ships, trying to achieve its original plan, because GHG issue is not option. It is for survival of the globe. In conclusion, only shipping company or shipyard or vendor which find way to overcome GHG regulation will survive. Of course, technology development is essential. This shows why IMO developed EEXI for existing ships. New ships which have to satisfy EEDI need speed reduction, low carbon fuel system, or energy saving system to reduce GHG emission. However, existing ships can make business without any restriction. Furthermore, about 70% of total fleet are non-EEDI applied ships. In these regions, IMO believes it's not fair for business purpose, and it's not good for reduction of total GHG emission, and has decided to adopt EEXI for not only new ships, but also existing ships. EEXI is a technical measure, or it means the ship should have good energy performance. But IMO say it's not enough. The ship's actual GHG emission is evaluated, and CII is calculated based on IMO DCS data or fuel consumption of the previous year, and ship is rated from A, B, C, D, E based on the fuel consumption. The actual fuel consumption depends on not only ship performance, but also, or more, how to operate the ship. Corrective action is needed for ships rated as D for 3 consecutive years and rated as E for just one time. The required CII is getting lower and lower. It means getting more conservative. Therefore, even if ship started from C rate, even point, ship might be ranked D after some years if there is no measure to improve CII. Generally, speed should be reduced to improve CII. However, the LNG fueled ships with good energy efficiency starting from A takes a long time to reach B or C, and it doesn't have to reduce speed, and it will be beneficial for business. Then how to comply with EEXI? KR already calculated EEXI for KR class 1,700 ships. Left is tanker and right is bulk carrier. You can see most pre-EEDI ships doesn't satisfy EEXI. Even EEDI applied bulk carrier, 30% doesn't satisfy EEXI. It means total about 8% do not satisfy EEXI and need additional countermeasure to improve energy efficiency. EEXI should be satisfied by 2023, and many ships need proper actions in short time. Bottleneck can be expected. Therefore, I strongly recommend owner to make action right now. KL has developed EEXI and CII guideline for our customers. If EEXI is not satisfied, as a first count measure, power limitation using EPL or sharply would be applied, and consequently, the speed should be reduced. This measure is very cheap, fast, and obviously easy to verify compared to other measures. If owner decides that this reduced speed doesn't matter with business or chartering, IEC will be issued. However, this reduced speed has impact on owner's operation or not proper for business. Second count measure would be carried out to improve ship speed by energy saving device or other means. If target speed not satisfied, owners should take other options, selling, new building, change chartering contract, or any. Even if target speed satisfied, owners should evaluate cost effectiveness. If second count measure too expensive, owners should take other option also. Only if it is cost effective, first count measure power limitation and second count measure energy saving device will be installed. This shows energy devices to improve ship speed or to minimize power limitation. Type A is normally attached outer hull, rudder, propeller to improve propulsion power. The effect cannot be separated from overall ship performance, and its effect can be verified not by model test, but by numerical test or CFD. The effect of category B and C can be separated from ship performance, or these devices can be turned on and off. It should be verified by C trial. Rotor sail or air lubrication system belong to category B, which contribute main propulsion. Wasted heat recovery system belong to category C, which take part of generator. What kind of options owners can choose for count measure? Of course, EPL is cheapest and fastest way. Another option is EPL with energy saving device. LNG dual fuel can be a solution. If ship's remaining life is quite long and owner concerned keeping high CII rate, LNG dual fuel can be an option. However, it costs $10 million order and retrofit is 2 times more expensive than new ships. Careful evaluation should be done based on 2 or 3 month feasibility study before making decision is essential. The new build is an option for substitution of low energy efficient ships. Also, if ship speed should be reduced, the owner may need more ship for cargo transportation. To check as it is very important and starting point. KL has developed EEXI CII software by which owners, designers can calculate and make sure of the current index. KL also has developed to find out optimum combination of energy saving device and engine power limitation. KL has also developed CFD verification procedure as arrow. How to keep high CII rate? We've carried out CII calculation for about 900 ships. The results are quite remarkable. About 50% ships are ranked to D or E, corrective action are necessary. Considering C-rated ships, vulnerable to be rated as D, total 8% need additional measure. Only 20% are ranked to A and B. They will get incentive from cargo owner or bank. To improve CII, systematic maintenance for hull, propeller, and engine are necessary. Also, optimal operation should be carried out, like speed, trim, route optimization, minimize total load, minimize idling or harbor operation. And in harbor operation, to use AMP is good for reduced fuel consumption. And owners should make life cycle management plan based on CII simulation. Plan for retrofit or energy saving device, biofuel or LNG retrofit or ammonia ready. Then long-term GHG response. This is Clarkson's expectation for marine fuel. Red means fuel oil, blue means LNG, and sky blue is zero carbon, such as ammonia and hydrogen. If ship is built in 2035, the last arrow, considering ship's life is 20 years, the ship should comply with IMO 2050 regulation for the last 5 years. Therefore, we can expect zero carbon ship will start to be built from 2030 to meet IMO 2050 regulation. Therefore, zero carbon ship technology should be developed right now, not far future. Fast mover will have more chance for business. You know well Poseidon principle and shipwright. The ship with good energy efficiency will get incentives from financial organization or cargo owner. Google and Apple and global big name company which belong to RE100 club have declared energy usage with 100% renewable resources, not only themselves, but their subcontractor. Cargo holder also give benefit to low carbon intensity ships, and Musk and CMA CGM have declared achievement of carbon neutrality by 2050 rather than 2100. Let's see what kind of impact put on shipyard and vendors. The main or conventional mission of shipyard was to build nice ship and to deliver to owners. However, due to environmental issue, it's not enough. Shipyard and vendor should provide life cycle management plan, data collection and evaluation system, and optimal maintenance and operational measure for GHG issue to owners. Shortly speaking, after service for ship get more and more important, like mobile phone. Demand of new build will increase because reduction of speed results in increase of new build to compensate shipping transportation by 3 to 5%. The size of ship will get bigger and bigger. Low energy efficient ship will be scrapped. Owners will prefer LNG fuel ships to keep high CII rate and be ready for ammonia. In conclusion, low carbon or zero carbon ships will substitute for conventional ships until 2050, as long as IMO GHG regulation is reinforced. The winner means will take everything. Winner means here who have solution for GHG issue. I will briefly introduce KL activity regarding GHG issue. We have studied carbon neutral fuel like biofuel and synthetic fuel. And we have studied about carbon capture system, post-treatment system. And also we are involved in developing ammonia fuel engine, and we studied ammonia as marine fuel, and we submitted several documents to IMO. And we have studied hydrogen propulsion ship and also liquid hydrogen carrier. And also we've studied electrical propulsion system. And to do this, we have 3 R&D centers for decarbonization, a green ship test center for testing the engine and the post-treatment system, and the MAST-C for electrical propulsion test, and the LSC for energy bunkering simulation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Song. The next speaker is Mr. Huang, Principal Engineer from DSME, Daewoo Shipbuilding and Marine Engineering. The speech is on the use of green technology for GHG reduction.
Okay, good morning and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to thank you for inviting me in this special webinar. Before starting, let me introduce myself. My name is J.K. Huang, working in DSM London office. I'm in charge of the technical area for commercial vessels. Today, I will be giving you a short presentation on DSME green technology for greenhouse gas reduction, together with introducing the currently available and potential technology for ocean-going vessels. My presentation consists of 2 sections. Firstly, I will touch the rules and regulations for greenhouse gas reduction issued by IMO. Then I will be covering the latest green technology for greenhouse gas reduction. Finally, I'd like to address a summary of EEDI and EEXI improvement with those green technology. Okay, let's move to the first section. I will begin with a brief overview of IMO greenhouse gas strategy, which is a hugely important ongoing issues and environmentally sensitive matters to the shipping industry. IMO announced the long-term greenhouse gas reduction plan, the total annual greenhouse reduction by 50% until 2050. In line with this plan, stricter EEDI and EEXI and carbon intensity indicators are being materialized to reach shipping industry goals as short-term or mid-term measures. Particularly, this index is the key subject of regulation, which intended to drive decarbonization of shipping for new building, as well as existing vessels. This slide shows you the required EEDI reduction rate for new building vessels and EEXI reduction rate for existing vessels as approved in MEPC 75th Committee. The reduction rate means how much energy efficient should improve compared to the phase 0 base in 2013. According to the rule, I have categorized the reduction rate for our shipyard main products such as VLCC, VLGC, LNG carrier, and container ships. Considering this effective date for EEDI phase 2 for VLCC, which was already coming to force from the last year, 2020, and for early adoption of EEDI phase 3 for gas carriers and containers from April 2022, and EEXI will be valid from 2023, subject to rule confirmation. With such a timeline of effective date, the current effective reduction rate can be summarized as shown in green color figures. Okay, now let's move to the second section. Latest green technology, how to cope with these challenges for greenhouse gas reduction. In general, there are few decarbonization options for shipping area, hydrodynamic optimization study, energy saving devices, alternative fuels, and digitalization for vessels design improvement. Let's see each option more in detail. This is about the hull form optimization study. There is an increasingly higher and higher efficiency for the vessels being capable of using more optimized hull form with R&D activities. Such activities include dimension parameter study, optimization of bow and stern area, local vibration of skeg angle, and the rudder angle, distance, number of propeller blade, and so on. Also, intensive CFD analysis with additional energy-saving devices has been carried out. By doing so, DSME has achieved a remarkable efficiency improvement continuously with less emission levels so far. This is about the shaft generator solution. The primary reason why apply shaft generator is to more utilize main engine than diesel generator engine, because normally two-stroke main engine has a higher efficiency than four-stroke generator engine. By applying shaft generator engine, main engine can cover the electric load demand of the vessel. So it is possible only main engine is operated at normal free-going mode without running of generator engines, which can bring fuel savings and consequently less greenhouse gas emission. Furthermore, there are remarkable benefits from saving maintenance cost of generator engine. We have also developed our own shaft generator solution incorporated with global partners. Through this, we can achieve higher productivity optimization and higher economy. Besides, for higher reliability, we had established an in-house render-based test system, which enables an easier system optimization with a more customized shaft generator design by our own engineering. Okay. The next subject is air lubrication system as an external energy saving device. The working principle is to reduce the friction loss between hull bottom and surface and seawater by creating an air layer with air compressors on board. As shown on this slide, this system has a simple system configuration. Air compressors located at port body and the air pipeline arranged to deliver air bubbles and the air injection unit to create air layers on the ship's bottom. Particularly, this item is one of the popular energy savings device in large-scale LNG carrier sector because LNG carriers operate at a relatively high speed, ranging with a lower drop to condition. In this regard, ship owners are likely to install this system with a reasonable payback time. In case of a 174K LNG carrier, the net saving is expected around 5 or 6%, considering input energy such as electric load and cooling and related ventilation system for air compressors. Also, the figures are depending on the speed range and sea condition. And with this our own ARS design, we already had a successful reference record in Greek-owned Marangas LNG carrier delivered in 2019. With this nice LNG carrier, DSM has done the performance test not only sea trial but also actual operation condition after delivery. By doing so, we could well accumulated know-how in depth with a long-term period actual onboard testing in cooperation with Marangas. We anticipated that this solution would be more popular and there are high possibility to widely apply to the other type of vessels such as LPG carrier and container ship and so on. This is about the rotacell, which is a kind of wind-assisted propulsion system. This solution is applicable to all types of vessels within the allowable air draft, solar visibility, and stability calculations. In this sense, DMVGL class AIP was given to the DSME rotor sail for VLCC and LNG carriers. Cylinder columns are installed on the deck and rotated to generate wind assistant propulsion power, a so-called Magnus effect, or while ships is going forward. This is a very beneficial power-saving device to reduce engine power, which directly led to the saving fuel and the less emission. For example, in case of a VLCC, the calculated average net saving is expected approximately 5% on 3 rotor column design. The more columns will, of course, bring better saving effect and less emission. In connection with the DSME smart ship solution, like a smart weather routing and the navigation system, a more effective outcome would be expected. Also, more innovative and flexible technology are now under review and the discussion in the market. For example, combining with the solar panel using solar energy and the movable or foldable rotor type to cope with this air draft restriction. Okay, let's move to the alternative fuel solution for greenhouse gas reduction. It is known that the most effective solution is a fuel change to LNG, LPG, biofuel, synthetic fuel, hydrogen and ammonia, etc., moving forward the environmentally friendly way. Personally, LNG fuel is a technically and commercially viable solution considering OPEX and infrastructure gradually spreading worldwide. With the 2-stroke dual fuel engines, MEGI and XDF engine enable to use LNGC as a fuel with high efficiency, including necessarily pure gas system and the various type of LNG tank type B and C made of 9% nickel or a high manganese material. So it is a fact that carbon emission from the vessel can be reduced by around 20% or 25% compared to a conventional fuel burning solution, because LNG fuel had a better emission figure than conventional fuel oil due to low carbon proportion and higher heating value and sulfur free. And this is a slide show the LPG dual fuel solution with the MELGI engine by using LPG as a fuel in liquid status. In the same manner, as a LPG fuel gives a better emission level compared to pure oil due to low carbon proportion and sulfur free. And particularly LPG consists of propane and butane. It is a non-cryogenic substance, so it's much easier to handle the fuel, and the capex is less than LNG dual fuel solution. According to MAN-ES information, MELGI engines were invented for burning LPG, methanol, and ethanol as a fuel. And further, MELGI concept is developing an ammonia burning engine as a decarbonization solution down to 90%, 95% carbon reduction as a target. DSME is a very also interesting in this ammonia fuel solution. So we are involved in various activity with a high priority. Since ammonia is a toxic and corrosive substance in terms of chemical characteristic, and many activities are related to safety and risk management to ensure stable use and safety handling on board by mitigating its potential risk. We have also carried out hedge-up with major classes and successfully achieved approved in principle for ultra-large container ship and LPG fueled VLCC with ammonia-ready concept. And those works are continuing with another type of vessel. Next is digitalization technology for smart ship solution. We named the smart ship solution as DS4. It's mainly composed of smart navigation, maintenance, and onshore monitoring, and those can be applied to our smart platform for new building vessel. Smart navigation is a function enabling each ship or a fleet to plan and monitor their economic voice and performance. Smart maintenance is for timely diagnosis and remote maintenance with support from relevant vendors. Onshore monitoring is about remote monitoring of selected key equipment from the onshore side. Okay, I would like to summarize what I've said so far. Let's now take a look at EEDI and EEXI level, combining with energy-saving device as well as LNG fueled ship solution. The red line, as you shown the slide, EEDI and EEXI guideline as of 2022. So in this case, in case of VLCC, conventional fuel with scrubber comply with EEDI phase 2 still valid, considering timeline of phase 3 from 2025 and additional a little bit high capex for LNG fueled ship. But nowadays, LNG dual fuel VLCC complying with already phase 3 commitment with several ship owners chartered by oil major Shell and Total, and LNG dual fuel solution is regarded as a next generation of eco-friendly ships for this VLCC sectors. In case of LPGC, especially VLGC, large size, almost all new building cases are based on the LPG dual ships. It would be due to the early adoption of phase 3 from the 2022, and additional capex for LPG dual fuel is relatively not so high compared to the conventional scrubber solutions. And LNG carrier sector, we think it does not seem appropriate to apply other alternative fuel to LNG carrier, considering the purpose of a vessel. So innovative technology for energy efficiency should be considered and developed. And the container sector, the situation is very similar to the VLCC. Conventional fuel with SOx scrubber solution is still valid, even though EEDI reduction rate is almost 50% based on the phase 3 from 2022. Nevertheless, it is a fact that dual fuel container ships have been already delivered, and more new building dual fuel containers are booming by the innovative players such as CMA CGM, Hapag-Lloyd Systems, and so on. Well, this brings me to the end of my presentation. Finally, I'd like to highlight one key point. Environmental issues are getting stricter gradually, and carbon tax and levy will affect the vessel operating cost more and more. So this green technology will not be an optional item anymore, but essential item in near future. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Huang. Our next speech is from STX Europe Managing Director, Mr. Song, who will elaborate on the eco-friendly STX engine.
Hello, everyone. Here in webinar. I'm W.Y. Song, STX Europe in Netherlands. On behalf of headquarters STX Engine in Korea, who is supplying engine and generator to the ship. I thank you for Mr. Kevin Choi of KOTRA Athens for inviting me to this great webinar session. Today, I will be presenting eco-friendly STX engine because we must keep our environmental safe on the earth. Therefore, eco-friendly engine to the vessel is inevitable and vital topic today and tomorrow. Okay, I'd like to share my content with you. First, what are needs and demand from the market and customers? Secondly, what are your benefits from eco-friendly STX engine? And next, why and how can you get the benefit from us? And finally, I will summarize my presentation. Then, what are needs from ship owners and shipyards? And also, what are demand from market at the moment? As we all knew that there are very clear two key answers. One is decarbonization, which is reducing carbon emission from engine side or generator side. You can say this is eco-friendly engine. The other is digitalization, like smart vessel. Then let me step on further details. First, as for decarbonization from eco-friendly engine, we have to reduce carbon emission. Therefore, the possible applications are using lower sulfur fuel oil, as we already knew that, or installing scrubber for reducing SOx limits, and or EGR and SCR can be also our consideration for NOx lower level. And at the same time, dual fuel DF engine is one of the solutions using gas and conventional fuel type. In some years, battery and fuel cell concept will be very welcome into new vessels. And also alternative clean fuel like methanol, ammonia, and hydrogen will be very welcome to new vessels. And eventually, new vessels will be operating with renewable energy. In the meantime, smart vessels with new concept, which is using platform communication with a satellite system, will be very sharply and quickly expanding to the new vessels. And next generation will be unmanned vessels with autonomous operation into ship. Then, under this global environment regulation, what kind of benefit can you enjoy from eco-friendly STX engine? In order for you to attend this global environment responsibility, you can just enjoy one-stop service from STX. Our STX DF engines, STX SCR, and spare parts and service. And also we are preparing ESS, energy storage system with our partners, so as to give you marine total solution. Then why and how can you get the benefit from STX engine? Because we are very reliable and already prepared green four-stroke engine supplier to you. More than 11 four-stroke engines have delivered, and we are 46 years experience of products and service activities. In total, we have successfully provided 38,000 engines, include high-speed and defense and marine power plant as well. This remarkable result and successful already started in 1976, and we grew up until now successfully. Our many customers are enjoying our marine engine in four-stroke genset and two-stroke main engine, and power plant engine, military engine, and electronic communication and radar system with our spare parts and service activities. When I highlight our marine engine segment, we supply all four-stroke power range generator, as well as two-stroke small bore engines. Especially when it comes to green engine, in other words, DF engines, you can choose our DF portfolio from small size DF, medium size, and large bore DF engines. In order to fulfill clean environment, our R&D, implementation, and activities are our everlasting effort and enthusiasm. For our STX SCR development and also our DF engines with very strong partnership with MAN. As you can see, our DF engine with 2032 DF already started to deliver 2016 year and until now. If I emphasize our sales reference, more than 10,000 with four-stroke side and 604 engines with a two-stroke. You can see our DF engines also included into this quantity. Our successful DF engines are contributing to stable and reliable operating with a safe on the vessels. Also, when I add up other engine segment, high-speed engine and our defense engines, in total 38,000 engines. And now, when I step on DF engine sales reference, total 34 engines have been provided with very reliable and stable operation at the moment, verifying safety and reliability. Especially this year, our 35, 44 DF engines are scheduled to install on 170,000 LNG carriers. So, in order to pursue eco-friendly supply, we STX Engine perform DF engines to the market with higher reputation. Especially sales reference to Greece, totally 1,187 engines delivered in four and two-stroke side. And additionally, our spare parts and service activities are also providing $30 million to Greek customer side. All our engine products are intensively managing quality, system, and process through very strong teamwork between MAN and STX Engine. This quality process started from the key component inspection and engine assembly until shop test and commission. Here, to perform NOx reduction, our STX SCR consists dodging unit and controller pump unit and SCR catalyst, reactor, and NOx analyze. Of course, we have successfully accomplished a SCR test combining our engines in our test shop, resulting NOx-3 approval from classification societies, the MVGL, ABS, Lloyd, KR, and so on. As of today, 282 SCR are normally operating on the vessel, of course, into Greek customer as well. Okay, then let me summarize my presentation. To perform eco-friendly engine, you can just click one button for one-stop service from STX Engine. We are ready to support with our dual fuel engine and STX SCL, also at local STX Athens office. And spare parts, service, and maintenance are providing in parallel for your sustainable business and profit. Furthermore, ESS, energy storage system, and battery supply to the vessel are also our stream to meet your goal. Especially our STX Athens office will support you directly, and STX Europe and headquarters in Korea, all STX networks already ready to support and back up to you. Yes, it is still challenging for us due to COVID-19. However, I'm looking forward to seeing and meeting you in Greece as soon as this pandemic can be settled. I really hope within this year. And thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Song. The following speaker is Mr. Ok, Managing Director of PANASIA Europe, and will talk about the most eco-friendly way with PANASIA.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to the organizer to have me in a webinar today. My name is Joseph, currently working at PANASIA Europe office. I'm glad to introduce our company and the product today. I'll be talking about mainly the environmental control equipments and few smart technologies that PANASIA currently working for maritime industry. PANASIA opened its door on October 10, 1989, and solely served shipbuilding industry to manufacture level switches and gauges at the time, and gradually expanded its business into total environmental equipment provider. In 30 years of business, PANASIA have acknowledged from recognized organizations by receiving various awards and because of a unique cutting-edge technologies, and also appointed and supported by the governments as a hidden champion. And understanding the characteristic of a shipping industry, we realized that the prompt response and actions are essential to support and assist our global clients. So we're not only having our partners in the world, but also we run our own overseas offices in Netherlands, Japan, and China. That was a brief introduction of our company, and I would like to talk about the products. PANASIA is striving to become a global leader in smart anchoring technologies at sea and land. We have worked in air and the water. First products I would like to share with you is a DSOX scrubber system, branded PASOX. Assuming that you know what the scrubber does, January 1st, year 2020, new regulation using 0.5% sulfur fuel oil was in effect, and every ship owner found the most suitable solution for their vessels and their trading patterns. One of the solutions to comply with the regulation is to retrofit a scrubber system. And obviously, there is a pro and cons. Pros for a scrubber is low cost in operation, comparing using very low sulfur fuel oil. And the con is you may also spend another cost for the conversion. So it is very necessary to consider return of investment with other options. You may be curious that PANASIA has been known for TECHNAVA engaging system, and you may think that we're incapable of supplying these kind of equipments in the system. And the answer is yes and no. Some of you don't know that we have heavily involved in emission control system and complete many projects in the USA, Iran, and of course in Korea. This is how we get into marine scrubber system in year 2017. And what I'm showing you on the picture and the small video clip is the first scrubber tower we supply for new building projects in Korea. As you can see, this is not that big and small unit. It is open and connecting main engines and generators. As of March 16, we have got 386 ships in order and delivered 294, including open and hybrid mode scrubber. And recent change of fuel prices, the scrubber is again getting attention for retrofit and new buildings. And according to Clarkson Research, show that PANASIA is number 4 in the market currently. And next is ballast water treatment system, glow and petrol. Not sure whether you know we're the first batch of a developer of a BWTS back in year 2004 and acquired the type approval in year 2010. And we have been in the market for 10 years. This is a glow and petrol. We use filter and UV radiation to disinfect the organisms, which we believe this technology is very simple to operate and easy to maintain and safe to crew and environment, as it does not produce any harmful substances. PANASIA glow and petrol is approved by the IMO UG8 and US Coast Guard. For the US Coast Guard, PANASIA is the only company to conduct 2 different challenging waters during land-based testing. We have done in California and Denmark. In addition, various classes and flag states accepted the PANASIA system as well. To date, we have contracted 1,739 ships and deliver 1,357 ships deliver. And next project is PANASIA. This is the first time to present this product outside of Korea. This is a very honor for me. This is hydrogen generating system. Maybe looking around you, it's very easy to notice or find electric cars on the road comparing a few years back. And every country in the world is fighting against the global warming and carbon emission. And most of the country already plan out to reduce the CO2 emissions. And consequently, hydrogen is spotlighted as a future alternative fuels. PANASIA foresees this potential of hydrogen and has been secretly researching and developing a hydrogen generation system. And last year, 2020, we had first projects with one of the city in Korea to provide a hydrogen reformer, and it will be delivered this year. It will be used at hydrogen gas station for local bus transportation and serve the public. Other than Korea, we noticed that many countries already start to change its future electricity supply plan from coal, nuclear, to fuel cell or renewable energies. To cope with these demands and changes, our plan for development of a hydrogen reformer is carrying small sizes for a single home with the purpose of heating and electricity up to the industrial scale. As we have devoted shipbuilding industry for 30 years, we also investigating the possibility to adopt hydrogen as for fuel. It is unfortunate that majority of the hydrogen we use today is from gray hydrogen. And for sure, the industry is moving forward greener fuel and eventually looking at green hydrogen more. We strongly believe that we can contribute our efforts to make the earth clean and green. And the last, it's smart technologies. I'm sure you have heard many times about smart technology and Industrial 4.0. Especially shipbuilding, known as a labor-intensive industry, adopting the smart technology is hard to believe. But PANASIA does want to remain as an old-fashioned way of building on equipment, but widely open to new and smart technologies to make the system faster, more accurate, and saving time and cost. We build the advanced smart factories, which we can see the entire process and progress from the display. And we're expanding into other product lines as well. Since we supply the very sensitive rule-related equipment for the ships, we would like to provide a certain comfort to our clients by informing real status of the equipment. This is why we launched this product monitoring system, enable to diagnose the system and providing the instant recommendation or services to our clients. By doing this, we believe that it will reduce the downtime of the ship and bring the benefit for ship owners. This is my presentation today, and thank you very much for this opportunity, and thank you for the listening.
Thank you, Mr. Ok. The following speaker is Mr. Tsipelikis, Procurement Manager of the Greek shipping company Kyklades Maritime, who will talk on the subject of the 2020-2050 IMO GHG fuel pathways and technological challenges.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank you for the invitation, and it's been an honor for me to join you today to the Korea Trade in order to participate in a webinar of green and smart shipping for May 13, 2021. My name is Alex Tsipelikis, and I'm the procurement manager of Kyklades Maritime Corporation. Just a small review of my experience. I'm a marine engineer. I've been traveling on vessels for about 2 years. I'm also honored with a mechanical engineer degree and a master degree in MBA. And totally, I'm about 18 years in the shipping business. I've been worked as an engineer on board vessels, as a technical superintendent in shipping company. And the last 15 years, I'm involved with projects and procurement management in shipping companies. In the meantime, I have a gap of about 8 years being a member of a big international company, Swedish company, Alfa Laval Greece, where I have been involved also for energy efficient projects. Recently, about a year ago and a half, I have joined Kyklades Maritime Corporation, which is a Hellenic shipping management company with a registered office in Piraeus, and has been considered of one of the most traditional shipping companies in Greece, owned by a Lafousos family. Since 2018, Kyklades Maritime Corporation has achieved a significant expansion in its activities in terms of fleet management, financial parameters like turnover, profits, and operated tonnage. Today, the company manages a fleet of 25 crude oil tankers of various sizes, mainly built in Korea, 90% of the fleet, and Japanese vessels, 10%. Specifically, the tankers fleet consists of 7 Aframaxes, 10 Suez, and 8 VLCCs. All our tankers operate under high quality standards, and some of them fly with the Greek flag, while some others fly with the Marshall Islands flag. The company is constantly looking for expanding opportunities, either through second-hand, but mainly on new building contracts, and expects 2 more VLCCs from Hyundai Samho in the beginning of next year. KMC's tankers fleet has an average of about 3.45 years. It's a brand new fleet, and 90% of the fleet is equipped with exhaust gas cleaning systems and 100% with ballast water treatment systems. The group operates the 70 tankers fleet of Okeanis second tankers, which was recently awarded as the Tanker Company of the Year. As many of the shipping operators, just like all the other shipping operators, we're planning our shipping businesses for the future, 2020 to 2050. As I've told you, the new building considerations, all the existing vessels are getting reviewed as a fit of purpose, especially for the existing fleet, which mainly means for us that it's capable to carry the required cargo to the desired locations, cost-effective, safe and flawless operation with minimum OPEX and downtime, and of course for future-proof if we are compliant with the future regulatory requirements and to the stricter charter requirements. Although our fleet is quite new, we are always considering all these factors for the future. Shipping regulatory. Since 2008, the shipping industry had to face several regulatory changes, with the main of being the IMO 2020 sulfur cap. As you can see here in the slide, especially from 2020, the sulfur cap regulation and some numerous other regulations will also be implemented worldwide by the IMO and ILO over the course of the year. As you can see in the slide, we are forced to comply with a lot of regulations come in force with the dates that I mentioned here, but it's really a big concern for us, the EEDI phase and the NOx CO2 emissions, along with the EEXI index. Ships emissions according to MARPOL Annex. Carbon dioxide CO2 emissions from traditional shipping represents approximately the same constant share of global CO2 emissions over the period 2012 to 2018. This is about 2 to 3%, with bulk carriers and oil tankers having a much smaller share of CO2 emissions compared to the container vessels, despite representing the industry's biggest segment in terms of the number of ships. This is mainly based on the size of the engines that container vessels represents. As you can see in the slide, we were forced to come a major decrease of the CO2 emissions from 2008 and especially from 2020. Up to 2050, the business market will be much, much different. So with a baseline of 2008, this strategy aims to reduce with at least 50% total gas emissions from the shipping by 2050, while at the same time reducing the average carbon intensity, CO2 per ton per mile, by at least 40% by 2030 and 70% before mid of century. All of these factors for us as operators, which we are exposed to carbon risk, we have to be careful with the finance risk, the regulatory risks, and of course, the charter, the commercial risks that we may face. What are the options that we had to consider? Decarbonization options regarding fuels. Decarbonization options for shipping means a lot, but so far we are familiar with heavy fuel oil, MGO, heavy fuel oil with low sulfur percentage, and also with marine diesel. Lately, we have in the market many options for decarbonization, such as alternative fuels. Shipping can use LNG and LPG, which offer a significant emissions reductions. Additionally, if biofuels become more available in the market, shipping can replace part of the fuel mix. The same, of course, can happen with synthetic fuels. There is also a lot of experimentation introducing hydrogen to the fuel mix, as well as ammonia, which has some commonalities with LPG. As you can see here in the graph, most of the operators, they have to think all of these factors, but with main concern of the consumption and the CO2 emissions. Compliance with the fuel. Retrofits or new builds. Compliance means continuing with fuels you and your crews understand and your ships are designed to use. Whatever method of compliance, training and ISM updates will be required. Using low sulfur fuel or alternative fuels for us as operators means bunkering and segregation planning, potential for new tankage, space and pipework, tank cleaning and system flushing, disposals, if any, and tank inspections, new lubricants, consumptions and changeover timing, understanding compatibility performance issues of new fuels. As you can see, each of these factors have a lot of risks and a lot of investments to do before coming into entry of compliance with all of these factors. But remember, just 2 kilos of high sulfur fuel in 1 ton of low sulfur fuel risks actions against the ship, 0.51% is non-compliant. Decarbonization regards technology. The main technology that is applicable in the market, but it's not new, is the exhaust gas cleaning systems. As I've told you before, in our company, our business strategy follows the installation of exhaust gas cleaning systems. Back in 2015, in readiness for the switch to 0.1% sulfur fuel, a number of RoRo and ferry operators led the way and successfully chose scrubbers as a means of compliance. That was very important for us in order to follow. The cruise industry came next, and now with 2020 looming, bulk carriers have taken over at the top of the ship types, adopting exhaust gas cleaning, with in each of these sectors retrofit open loop installation, just as we did here in our company. Of course, we are not surprised that open loop scrubbing is preferred. It is the simplest, technically simplest scrubbing system and favored by ship crews. Open loop scrubbing has also been used for years by coastal power stations and by all tanker inner gas systems when in port without environmental issues, while closed loop and hybrid systems are available for enclosed bodies of water with little water exchange or where discharges are restricted by local regulations. Alternative of switching to low sulfur fuel on the port stay where open loop operation is not possible. Lately, we face a lot of local port authorities regulations with ban of open loop scrubber systems, but the cost impact is likely to be limited to over 90% of fuel consumption is during full away at sea, which is where the financial benefits really accrue. Carbon capture on board vessels be used to reduce the carbon footprint of shipping. Questions and answers regarding exhaust gas cleaning system operations. Many of the shipping operators concerned about all these questions. How does a scrubber reduce sulfur oxide emissions? A scrubber sprays alkaline water into the vessel's exhaust, which removes SOx from the ship's engine and boiler exhaust gases. In a seawater system, the sea's natural alkalinity laterally neutralizes the results of CO2 removal, SO2 removal, before discharge back to the sea. In a freshwater system, the wastewater used for scrubbing and neutralization is treated with an alkaline chemical such as sodium hydroxide, and in both cases, the sulfates resulting from the SOx removal will be discharged with the wastewater to the sea. Is the sulfur included in the wastewater from the scrubbing process harmful to the sea? Sulfur is the form of sulfate, is the end product of the scrubbing process, and is naturally occurring constituent of seawater and therefore not harmful to the sea. The oceans are the Earth's natural reservoir of sulfur and play a key role in the sulfur cycle. Sulfur is one of the most common elements and is both biologically necessary and critical to many metabolic processes. But do scrubbers have an oxidation effect on seawater? During the desulfurization process within the scrubbers, SO2 gas is absorbed by the seawater spray. Through a series of reactions within the wastewater, the SO2 is converted to an end product of sulfate, water, and carbon dioxide. During the scrubbing process, and decrease in the pH of the wastewater is laterally neutralized by the natural alkalinity found in seawater. This ensures that the pH of the discharged water is in compliance with guidelines established by the International Maritime Organization. The resultant discharge contains only a slight increase in the natural concentration of sulfate in water. How is it ensured that the water discharge into the sea does not harm the environment? The following discharge water parameters are continuously monitored through water analysis, and the results are circularly logged against time and the ship's position, pH with some temperature compensation, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, and turbidity. All the above as per IMO regulation 2015 guidelines for exhaust gas cleaning systems. The data must be retained on board for a period of less than 18 months from the date of recording and is subject to auditing and verification by port states and by classification societies on behalf of flag states. Do scrubbers on ships using heavy fuel oil reduce SOx emissions as efficiently as the use of compliant fuel. According to several studies, starting from 2014, scrubbers on ships using heavy fuel oil remove more than 98% of the sulfur oxides from the exhaust, resulting in emissions lower in sulfur oxides than those of marine gas oil, which is considered the benchmark for the IMO's 0.5% sulfur cap schedule to be implemented in January 2020. As a result, scrubbers are an approved method of compliance with the sulfur regulation by the IMO, European Union, and US Environmental Protection Agency. But do scrubbers reduce other types of emissions as well? Independent studies and research demonstrate that scrubbers are capable of removing 60 to 90% of particulate matters, PM, including a portion of small PMs 10 to 2.5 micron, and ultrafine, which results in releasing fuel PMS in the atmosphere compared to using MGO. Also, scrubbers are so effective in removing black carbon of particular interest because of the potential impact in Arctic regions. Will the use of scrubbers increase the speed of the vessels and subsequently CO2 emissions? No, we think that there's no link between scrubbers and vessel speed, and all practical methods which reduce CO2 emissions are welcome. And the option of slow steaming is one of the ways reducing fuel usage and CO2 emissions that's always available. Scrubbers do not interfere with this in any way. But what other environmental benefits do scrubbers have? Scrubbers allow vessels to continue using heavy fuel oil, a residual fuel with high energy content that is difficult to refine, providing an environmentally sound outlet for this refinery byproduct. To further process of heavy fuel oil, refineries would need to invest heavily in upgrading their facilities, which will take years to materialize. Less refining also means less greenhouse gas emissions associated with heavy fuel oil versus MGO productions. Also, the lower combustion temperatures of heavy fuel result in less NOx production at sea. These are some of the concerns that we had to follow before deciding and implementing our business strategy. Here you can see that mainly big-sized vessels have progressed with the installation of scrubber technology. Challenges to be considered day by day. We're looking for optimal solutions to improve the energy efficient existing efficiency index, EEXI, also to develop some measures to improve ship operation efficiency and improve carbon intensity indicator. Looking for developments in the market of non-carbon fueled vessels, such as ammonia and nitrogen, and follow their operation, enhancing the environmental life cycle of a ship by reducing gas emissions. A common approach in the early years was to eliminate the engine power. That was a low-cost and easy to install short-term installation. On the other hand, alternative fuel and energy-saving devices was also considered, but with higher cost, but a more long-term installation. Finally, replaced with new ships. This is really high cost, and who really can afford this? Fuels vs exhaust gas cleaning system technology. After 3 years of operation of our scrubbers, we are really wondering, are scrubbers a better way to comply with the IMO 2020 sulfur cap compared to compliant fuel? Both scrubbers and compliant fuel are equally acceptable and environmentally sound methods of compliance with the 2020 sulfur cap, and scrubber use is an equivalency under MARPOL for global operation. However, CSA 2020 believes that both are essential tools for significantly reducing the environmental impact of the maritime sector. Lately, by the end of 2020, Clarksons came up with a very nice report saying, with an assumption of to 2030 report, if a global economic growth remains steady at 2.4% per year, the percent volume of seaborne trade will expand by 4 billion tons a year by 2030, by which time the world fleet will require 13,000 more vessels to serve it. The consequent increase in greenhouse gas emissions from the ships, according to the third IMO GHG study, could range from 20% in its business as usual scenario, as you can see in the graph below, to 85% if global GDP expands at an exceptionally high rate. Beyond 2030, fleet projections become increasingly speculative because the geographical, the developmental, and commercial influences that keep the world fleet working are likely to be vastly different than today. That said, the IMO's third study used a range of scenarios that combined global consumption, GDP growth, and demand for maritime transport to determine that carbon emissions from shipping could increase anywhere from 50 to 250% by 2050. For us, we have to follow with strategic global sourcing, a business model that really related our decision on the trade-off between analysis of fuel options, price, availability, and safety, operational profile of fleet, or whatever you have to follow with your fleet and the needs of the market, future-proof design by shipbuilding industry, supply chain from bunkers, delivery reliability today is a main concern, and a product innovation. Day by day, the technology pace is in progress. Understanding the impact and efficacy of technology options and their degrees of maturity will be critical for making investment decisions. And the readiness of some technologies will differ between shipping sectors. For example, lately, some battery technologies may be available for vessels with short operating ranges, but not for the longer routes. Here in Kyklades Maritime Corporation, the management has a commitment as one team with the same vision. We plan, we act, we measure, we improve, but always under standard policies and according to global regulations. This is our commitment. Thank you for the invitation. I hope that I have expressed our thoughts and our experience through the last 3 years with environmental issues. I hope to see you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tsipilikis. The next speaker is the Technical Superintendent of Stealth Maritime, Mr. Papakonstantinou, and his subject will be the current situation and future outlook of Stealth Maritime and their views in green and smart shipping.
Hello to everybody. I would like to thank the Korean Trade and Investment Promotion Agency for providing this chance to participate and present in this interesting event. My name is Papakonstantinou Christos, and I'm a Technical Superintendent in Stealth Maritime for 8 years now. This presentation will be around our company's actions for green shipping, mainly, and more thoughts about improvement. A few short words about the company. The company was first established back in 1999, and it has quickly become one of the fastest growing shipping companies in Greece. The company primarily manages a fleet of gas carriers and tankers. We will focus on the following areas: launching environmental friendly vessels, how to minimize the environmental impact of the vessel's operations, third, how to save energy, fourth, testing of environmental friendly technologies, and last, the reduction of air emissions. Our company, in order to minimize the use of anti-fouling paints, is testing a new system which is called foul release. This new approach is, in simple words, a way to make very difficult for the biofouling to attach on the vessel's hull. This technology is very environment friendly since it contains no added biocides and is based on silicon and fluoropolymer-based technology. In order to evaluate the efficiency of this application, we have taken two sister vessels which were dry docked during the same period and applied on the first a tin-free self-polishing system, while on the second we applied the silicon-based foul release system. It remains to be seen that what will be the comparison after all. Concerning the reduction of chemical consumption, for example, huge quantities of chemicals are used for the boiler water and the cooling water system on board the vessel. Our company, in order to minimize and even replace those chemicals, is testing products that are biodegradable, non-accumulating, and less toxic to both personnel and marine life. However, supply companies should provide more concrete data about the biodegradability and the non-accumulation. Also, a more practical measurement system must be in place for tangible results. Another group of the items that can be found on board the vessel and can have a devastating result on the environment, and more specifically on the greenhouse effect, are the refrigerant gases, more specifically chlorofluorocarbons, hydrochlorofluorocarbons, and hydrofluorocarbons. Our company, in order to have a 50% reduction in global warming potential, we're replacing the R404A refrigerant with the R408A or F, depending on the system requirements and specifications. In order to enhance the energy efficiency and to reduce the aerial emissions, our company has deployed the following. First, vessels are equipped with LED lights, which is proven that offers 35% saving. Imagine that the entire vessel has so many areas that require light on a 24-hour basis. Also, we have installed movement sensors in order the lights to be deactivated when there is no human presence. Of course, this cannot happen in areas where critical equipment is in operation. Second, engine room cooling system, freshwater and seawater pumps are controlled through a sophisticated software that takes into account various variables, such as seawater temperature, external air temperature, and the cooling capacity that is required, therefore adjusting the load of the pumps. If you imagine that cooling is a process that never stops, then you can imagine the actual savings accomplished. Another item which is not mentioned here are the engine room intake fans. They operate with the same method. Through various sensors, they adjust the load for optimum operation. Third, the oil coolers of engine room central cooling seawater and freshwater system are cooled with fresh water and not with direct seawater. This action has a profound advantage that in case of oil coolers failure, leakage, there will not be any leakage of oil to the seawater. Fourth, soot cleaning devices, the so-called acoustic cleaners. We have savings on consumptions for fuel, for steam production, and less chemicals for the boiler water treatment. It is actually a more energy efficient cleaning solution than the steam. Fifth, the propeller is coated with silicone paint. This is a feature that helps to reduce the friction of the propeller, thus reducing the air emissions and the fuel consumption. 6. Electronic auto-tune main engine. This ensures an accurate insight to the engine's condition and performance, enabling both optimizing the engine's fuel efficiency and verification of the optimization's effect. Another major and frequent part of the vessel's life is the bilge water. Our company is looking into improving the bilge quality disposed from the vessel by reducing the oil content from 15 parts per million, where it is currently now, to 5 parts per million. The clean design class notation is a voluntary new building specification which covers most aspects of ship design and operation. For bilge water, for example, clean design stipulates a maximum of 5 parts per million of oil remaining in water after treatment prior to pumping overboard. Sources of grey water include sinks, showers, baths, washing machines, and dishwashers. These sources can amount to a huge daily quantity, especially in bigger vessels. If you consider that sometimes there is overdosage of soap or detergent from the crew members, then you can imagine that again, plenty less harmful chemicals now ending up to the sea. In order to tackle this uprising matter, our company is testing the efficiency of systems that in a way are purifying the grey waters so they can be later used for deck washing, cooling, or other general purpose usage. The galley can also have an impact on the environment because fats, oil, and grease that sometimes are mishandled can end up to the sea. Our company, in order to reduce this side effect, has installed grease traps. A popular, cost-effective way to reduce the fuel consumption and the aerial emissions is by improving the efficiency of the propulsion of the propeller. In our biggest vessels, we have installed the MEVIS duct, as you can see here. In our smaller vessels, we have installed the propeller boss cap fins. Concerning their emissions and the energy efficient operation index, in average for chemical product tankers, which is between 40 and 60,000 deadweight, our average is below IMO standard, National Technical University of Athens, and Alpha Marine Consulting. Concerning their emissions again and the energy efficient operation index, but for crude oil tankers, which are approximately 80 to 120,000 tons, again is below the NTUA, IMO, and this Alpha Marine Consulting. So we are all way below. As you have seen, there are plenty of new ideas and solutions offered to improve the energy efficiency, the air emissions, the anti-fouling, and so on. The challenge is to see what has been the impact and what is the best, most cost-effective and efficient solution per type of vessel and size, of course. As always, in any new equipment or solution, there are reliability concerns, and sometimes this can cause serious backdrops on your way to going forward. The challenges are plenty, and they have to do with complicated factors. Some of them are as follows. In terms of how easy it can be measured. Second, the cost effectiveness to be in a reasonable area, so it can be economically feasible for the owner to install and for the operators to operate. Third, the solutions to be sustainable in the long run without causing any further not yet known issues. Fourth, another very important part of the smart shipping has to do with improving the telecommunications and properly securing them. Fifth, which is in continuation of the fourth, this way the smart part of shipping can continue evolving, but the vessel will not be affected from any cyber attacks. We were the first company to ever install a hybrid scrubber in an LPG carrier. A hybrid system offers a combination of open and closed loop operation and provides the flexibility to operate in closed loop mode, including zero discharge mode, depending on the conditions, seawater alkalinity, discharge restrictions, and etc., and in open loop mode without consuming any alkaline agent. Overall experience is positive. However, there are concerns concerning the disposal of the residues when it is working in closed loop mode. Another thing to have in mind, and possibly to be improved in the future, is the maintenance cost. In our specific case, in order to be compliant, the cost is very high. Second example in how we have proven to be pioneers. We have a fully pressurized LPG with cargo chillers. This way, we can control the cargo temperature. Therefore, we can maximize the cargo intake. It is actually a hybrid between fully pressurized and a semi-refrigerated LPG vessel, which is quite impressive. Challenges for the future. There are a few. Some of them. Actual environmental footprint. To actually realize whether it is small or bigger throughout the process, not just the end product. For example, a chemical or a spare part, if it is required to change too frequently, or if the materials are of exotic compounds. Second, materials to be less demanding for continuous maintenance. Third, to help the vessel's operation by making the repairs more efficient with lower risk factor. For example, to be able to renew a pipe on deck or some supports without the need of hot work. This way, it is more cost effective and definitely more safe. Another example, our approach in this matter is that the bolts and nuts are of highest grade of stainless steel. These have proven to be very cost effective and reduce the risk. It may seem small, but in the vessel's time life has a good return on investment. Another example that we have found very useful is many smaller pipes to be of stainless steel. Lastly, the fourth part is cargo operations to become more safe and more efficient. Finally, the efficient design from the very first stages is a very crucial part. Korean shipyards are leaders in this requirement as well as many other sectors. Therefore, it is very helpful for owners to have a vessel that it is efficient enough. Thank you all for your attention. Hope you enjoyed and it was useful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Papakonstantinou. Following is Mr. Alexandropoulos, New Buildings Manager of TECHNAVA, who will talk about TECHNAVA's solutions towards greener shipping.
Greetings to all, also from my side, and it's a great pleasure of being invited and participated on this seminar organized from KOTRA organization, honoring also the 60 years of friendship between Korea and Greece. My name is Alexandros Alexandropoulos, and I'm responsible of the New Building Department of TECHNAVA. TECHNAVA is a private-owned company established since 1968 from our president, Mr. Byron Tomazos, and main role of the company is to act as agent and partner for many first-class international manufacturers, providing the top quality of product and services to the Greek and Cypriot market for both marine and industrial sector. We have our headquarters in Athens, while we maintain also branch office in Limassol of Cyprus, and we also maintain 2 multi-workshop facilities where it is the base of our field services and training center. Coming to today's hot topic, as we all know, shipping is experiencing an increased pressure for decarbonization and reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. Having achieved actually the main targets of referring to SOx and NOx reduction, the next big challenge for IMO is the CO2 and particulate matter reduction. In this respect, since April 2018, IMO has adopted a very ambitious greenhouse gases reduction strategy referring to drastic reduction targets for CO2 carbon intensity and greenhouse gas emission. They are using as base year the data collected from satellites on greenhouse gas emission of international shipping of 2008, and the target is to reach zero emission as soon as possible within this century. As an outcome of this ambitious IMO legislation roadmap, it has been developed our well-known EEXI framework along with targeted EDI implementation phases, which in principle are influencing both new building and existing vessel design and operation. Therefore, all vessels will be forced to comply with relevant framework which is entering into force since 1st of January 2023. The assessment will be performed for the entire fleet by the well-known EEDI formula and calculate the energy efficiency performance index of every vessel. The attended EEDI EXI will be the critical factor for the decision of the next course of action and necessary intervention in case a vessel do not meet with indicated targets. As a result, a big number of vessels will be forced to implement efficiency improvement in their operation and modification probably, so as to meet with the new required EXI standards. On this dynamic new environment of decarbonization, TECHNAVA has also adapted and optimized its customer services, offering multi-level consultation, assisting our client on finding the best path for improving their ship efficiency operation. In this respect, talking about new building project, we offer a holistic approach on EEDI optimization, starting from the main engine design, the engine room optimization for all individual auxiliary equipment, power management solution, waste heat recovery option, application of shock scrubber, revision about option of alternative fuel, as well as hull performance optimization. On existing ship, we can perform EXI and CII improvement against by reviewing holistically each individual vessel design. We can offer engine power limitation, the so-called EPL studies, apply when necessary solution referring to energy-saving devices, adapted to each particular customer and vessel operating profile. We can also provide verification services. In particular, for the topic of LNG as fuel, TECHNAVA has created a great specialty, since we have many years involvement on particular field connected with our strong portfolio of principal, while through our partnership with the well-known GTT of France, we have further expanded the level of our consultation services, and we touch base on the overall optimization of the LNG fuel vessel design. As per below, we would like to present some of our strategic partners on this effort with flagship product and solution towards greener shipping. Among them are WinGT with the successful XDF low pressure gas engine technology, Alfa Laval with a big range of green product, KCC with marine coatings, WITEC for shaft generator, various energy-saving devices by Norse Power, Snickel, and MOL Technotrade, as well as performance software solution by Propulsion Analytics. Going to more detail and starting from WinGT, at first, it's worth saying that LNG as fuel nowadays is considered by most people of the industry as the most environmental friendly, currently available, and of course, transient fuel for the shipping. Already, since many years, we observe a trend towards LNG fuel vessel, which is initiated by many major charterers, as well as ship owners. TECHNAVA has started the partnership with WinGT since 2016, while for the past decade, WinGT has achieved a series of technical development and commercial successes on their first generation XDF engine, which by now we can say that it's a fully mature product. We're entering now the second decade of its existence. WinGT has announced a further dynamic development, the generation of XDF 2.0. Nowadays, is not an understatement to say that XDF technology is industry standard, talking for LNG as fuel, while it is clearly the preferred propulsion choice for many shipyards, charterers, and ship owners, mainly referring to LNG carrier, but also to a big portion of LNG fuel vessel. On greenhouse gases emission front, the low-pressure gas technology represents currently the greener way of propulsion compared both with traditional diesel engine as well as the high-pressure gas engine. XDF engine can achieve an average 20% reduction on CO2 emission, including also the portion of emission from methane slip. While talking about NOx emission performance, we are far below the Tier 3 requirement, with no need for after-treatment of exhaust gases. Considerably lower is also the environmental footprint on particulate matter emission that is expected to be also the next target of IMO for regulation. By the introduction recently of the XDF 2.0 generation to the market, the overall performance of the engine is further improved, while among others is achieved a great methane slip reduction of 40 to 50% based on the various engine load conditions. On another field of SOx emission regulation that is part of IMO strategy since many years, through our principal Alpha Laval and the well-known pure SOx scrubber, we can offer compliance or MARPOL Annex 5 requirement for SOx emission under the continuous operation with high sulfur heavy fuel oils. In parallel, we can offer customized solution and various exhaust gas cleaning operating layouts which can meet with each individual vessel design and operating profile. Alpha Laval is also pioneer on the field of dual fuel boilers. They have a wide range of boilers type, steam production capacity, and burner type. While the DF boiler, talking primarily to LNG fuel burning, can provide low carbon footprint to meet with heating and cargo operating requirement, meeting any customer demands. Again, through our principal Alpha Laval on the field of waste heat recovery, we offer a wide range of solutions and products which are tailor-made to meet with individual ship design requirement, referring to either new build or retrofit installation. In this respect, aside from the typical use of waste heat for heating purposes, optimized solution can be also offered in combination with other technologies for the use primarily of power generation. This can be achieved through steam turbine generator or even the latest technology of ORC unit. In this manner, we drastically improve the EDI, especially referring to new building vessels. Shaft generator might be one of the last resources of current available technologies to optimize drastically the engine room operation and power generation on board the modern vessel. Our partner, WITEC Solution of Finland, has been a true pioneer on this field, and literally they have managed to reintroduce the shaft generator to the marine industry. This was achieved by using the combined technologies of permanent magnet alternator and frequency drive for the power management, eliminating in this respect the requirement of high RPM and constant speed that has been the barrier for the shaft generator of the previous generation. They have delivered their first installation back in 2016, and nowadays WITEC is considered a market leader with the most references on particular field. Hull resistance and the performance of marine coating is one more critical parameter on EDI formula. KCC Coatings, with whom TECHNAVA has started a collaboration since 2015, is able to offer a series of high-end, low-friction anti-fouling products, which enable in this respect the end user to have a predictable management of their hull roughness, achieve extended dry dock intervals, and have an easy maintenance. In particular, with KCC's high-end product, the Aegis Pacific series, we can offer performance guarantee to the end user, referring to a maximum 1.5% speed loss between dry dock intervals, using in parallel the total care hull performance monitoring system of KCC in order to have a continuous overlook of hull performance. It's worth highlighting also the latest introduced by KCC solvent-free epoxy product, which are expected to be the new market standard, talking about anti-corrosion marine coating. Going to the field of energy-saving devices as a means to improve the existing vessel EEXI and CII, we can offer a series of solutions adapting again each particular vessel and customer actual needs. Through our well-known SNICL duct, which so far have over 1,800 installations worldwide, we can achieve a proven up to 6% fuel saving and a speed increase up to 0.5 knots. TECHNAVA has a long experience on this field with more than 150 installations on Greek-owned vessels, and we are able to undertake complete retrofit studies, including also the verification process towards EEXI and EVDI improvement. This we can achieve through through performing model tests and CFD technical studies. On the same topic, with our cooperation with MOL Technotrade of Japan, who produce the so-called original propeller boss cap fin, they are counting up to now more than 3,500 installations worldwide, and we can achieve measurable fuel saving at the range of 3 to 5%. It is noticeable to highlight the significant result that can be achieved of the combination of PCBF with SNICL duct. One of our latest collaboration and interesting ideas on EDI improvement, referring particularly for new building ships, comes with the solution of rotor sails by Norse Power. Rotor sail is an auxiliary wind propulsion system utilizing the wind in principle to generate thrust. We can achieve fuel saving at the range of 4 to 5% per rotor sail. Indicative are actually the published figure from Maersk Tanker, which is among the first worldwide installation, and they have reported 8.2 measured saving from 2 installed rotor sail. Finally, through our partnership with the green company Propulsion Analytic, we complete our portfolio of services on the vessel performance optimization by offering their smart software solution, which they combine the advanced simulation model they use, the data analytics and machine learning, offering to the user the ability to extract valuable feedback on the performance of all their critical subsystem on board, assisting in this respect to take timely the right decision for optimizing the ship performance. All in all, and in order to conclude, TECHNAVA is a leading company on the supply, installation, and after-sales support for many critical equipment. We consider that we are the right partner for providing consultation services and solutions towards EDI, EXI, and CII improvement, and we can act both as integrator but also verifier and work together to find the preferred approach towards compliance of your fleet. Thank you all for your attention, and thank again to KOTRA organization for this invitation to a great event.
Thank you, Mr. Alexandropoulos, for your speech. This was the final presentation, so the webinar has reached to its end. We would like to thank all of our speakers for their time and kind support. Also, we would like to thank all the participants who took their time and watched this webinar. In case of any questions, you can share with us through email and we will forward them accordingly. We believe that we shared some remarkably interesting presentations today on the fields of green and smart shipping, and we hope that we will be able to see you all again soon. Thank you very much.